Hello student, in this video I am going to discuss how to find the roots of quadratic equation by factorization method. Let us discuss some problems. The first problem, 2x square plus x minus 6 equals to 0. Now students, very first step is just to identify the product and sum of the numbers. For this, first we multiply coefficient of x square with the constant term. So 2 into 6 we get minus 12. So the product of our numbers, it will be equals to minus 12, and sum is always give you the coefficient of x, which is 1 here. So first step is complete, where we identify the product and sum. So here the product is minus 12 and sum is equals to 1. Now we have to identify the possible factor of a 12. Possible factor of a 12 is 6 into 2, and second possible factor is 4 into 3. Out of these two, one factor will be selected. Here 4 and 3 will be selected. So product is 12. So out of these two, one has to be negative. One will be negative and sum is equals to 1. So here sum is positive, so it means bigger number positive, smaller number is negative. So 4 and 3 will be selected and we get 4 minus 3. So 4 minus 3 will be equals to 1. So why we have selected 4 and 3? Because 6 and 2, when we add or subtract them, we never get 1. So it is possible to get 1 only with the 4 and 3. So the possible factors here 4 and 3. We'll arrange them in the question form. So see, the middle term is x. It will be written as 4x minus 3x minus 6 equals to 0. Then we simplify this. For simplification from first two term, we are taking 2x common. We get x plus 2. And from last two term minus 3 common, we get x plus 2. So this x plus 2 bracket term is common in most of the cases. So next step, x plus 2 will be taken common. We left 2x minus 3. One by one, we substitute them equals to 0 and finding out the value of x from here. Value of x is 3 by 2 from first case and minus 2 from the second case. So these are the required roots of this equation. Let us discuss few more problems on this concept. Now in this problem, 2x square minus x plus 1 by 8 equals to 0. The last term contains 1 by 8. Just to simplify this, we will multiply this whole equation with the 8, because LCM of this term is 8, so we are going to multiply with the 8. As we multiply with the 8, we get 8 into 2, 16. X square minus 8x plus 1 equals to 0. And the next step, identify product and sum. Product of a number is 16 and sum is minus 8. And the possible factor of 16 is 4 into 4. And both will be negative. Minus 4x, their product will give you 16 and sum is minus 8. Then taking 4x common, we left 4x minus 1 in the bracket. We get the factors 4x minus 1 and 4x minus 1. Substituting them 0, 1 by 1. And the value of x is 1 by 4 in each case. Now let us try this problem. It is 100x square minus 20x plus 1 equals to 0. Now students, the product is 100 and sum is equals to minus 20. And the possible factor of 100 is 10 into 10 and their sum also give you 20. The sign will be negative. Both will be negative. Minus 10x plus 1 equals to 0. 10x will be taken common. We left 10x minus 1. Minus 1 into 10x minus 1. And finally we get the value of x 1 by 10 in each case. So here the previous question and this question, the two roots we obtained here and they are repeated roots. The roots are same. Now in this problem here we have 4 root 3x square plus 5x minus 2 root 3. This is the equation given to you. 4 root 3x plus 5x minus 2 root 3 is 0. First we identify the product. For identifying the product, first and last term multiplied. 4 into minus 2 we get minus 8. Root 3 square give you 3. So we get minus 24. And sum is equals to 5. Now the possible factor here for 24, it is 8 into 3 is 24. And the factor will be 8x minus 3x. The next step, from first two term 4x will be common. We get 4x into root 3x plus 2. And from the last two term, root 3 will be taken common, so that we can have 2 at the last place. You can get the idea from here. 2 is without root term here, so we want to remove root term here. So 2 is without term, it means root 3 has to be common. And we get x is root 3 by 4 and minus 2 by root 3. Now let us try another problem. In this problem here, question is given to you x square plus 2 root 2x minus 6 is equals to 0. And we identify the product here. The product comes to be minus 6 and sum is 2 root 2. Now in this case here, the product is 6. We have to find the positive factor of 6. It will be 3 and 2. Since sum is given in term of root 2, so this 2 will be factorized further as root 2 into root 2. And now this 3 will be splitted as 3 into 1. So 1 3 will adjust with the first root term. We get 3 root 2. And second is root 2. So if you see here, product is negative, means out of these two, one is negative. So sum is 2 root 2. So we got 3 root 2 minus root 2. That will give us 2 root 2. So this is the required factor. Let us arrange this. We get x square plus 3 root 2x minus root 2x minus 6 equals to 0. From first two term taking x common, we get x plus 3 root 2 minus, from last two term we need x at the first place, so root 2 has to be common. Root 2, we get x plus 3 root 2 is equals to 0. Now how you get 3 root 2? By dividing 6 with the root 2. We have a 2 factor x minus root 2 and second is x plus 3 root 2 is equals to 0. By substituting them 0, we get x root 3 and minus root 3. Let us try another problem. Now students, in this problem, the problem is given abx square plus b square minus ac into x minus bc equals to 0. In this case, we are not going to identify the product and sum. We are just going to simplify middle term by multiplying x with both the terms. After multiplying, we get abx square plus b square x minus acx minus bc. Now students, from the first two term, one x is common and second b is common. So from first two term bx is taken common. We left ax plus b. And from last two term c is common. So we left ax plus b in the bracket. So overall we left with here ax plus b one factor and second is bx minus c equals to 0. By substituting them 0, you get x c upon b and minus b upon a. Now let us try this problem. This problem is the same problem we discussed in the previous slide. We simplify the middle term by multiplying with the x. We get x square minus root 2x minus x plus root 2 is equals to 0. From first two term taking x common, we get x minus root 2 minus 1 into x minus root 2 is equals to 0. Substituting 1 by 1 0, we get x minus 1 0, x minus root 2 0, x is 1 and root 2. These are the required factors. This is another problem which is given 4x square minus 4ax plus a square minus b square is equals to 0. Now students, in this case here, we have to simplify this. If you see the first three expression here, we are going to use it identity a minus b whole square in the first three term. So we can express this 4x square as 2x square plus a square minus 2 times our ab minus b square is equals to 0. By simplifying first expression, it will be the formula for a minus b whole square, which is 2x minus a whole square minus b square is 0. Now we use identity a plus b, a minus b, and finding out the value of x from here, x comes to be a minus b upon 2 and a plus b upon 2. Now let us try another problem. In this problem, question is given 1 upon x plus 4 minus 1 upon x minus 7 is equals to 11 upon 30. With x would not be equals to minus 4 and 7. We'll solve this by taking LCM. LCM is x plus 4 into x minus 7. Then we left x minus 7 minus x plus 4 in the numerator. By simplifying this x cancel with the x, we left minus 11 upon x plus 4 into x minus 7. 11 and 11 they cancel with each other. We left minus 1 and 1 on right hand side. And the next step, by performing cross multiplication. After multiplication, we left minus 30 is equals to x plus 4 into x minus 7. We multiply right hand side, and then shifting 30 to other side, we get a quadratic equation x square minus 3x plus 2. By middle term splitting, we get the value of x minus 1 and x minus 2. So value of x is 1 and x is 2. Let us discuss another problem. In this problem, 3 upon x plus 1 minus 1 upon 2 is equals to 2 upon 3x minus 1. Now friends, in this case, we'll shift 2 upon 3x minus 1 to left hand side, and then we'll take LCM. LCM comes to be x plus 1 into 3x minus 1. By simplifying, we get 3 times of 3x minus 1 minus 2 times of x plus 1. So we get 9x minus 3 minus 2x minus 2. 7x minus 5 is 1 by 2. Next step is cross multiplication, and we will simplify the equation. By simplification, we get a quadratic equation. Here 3x square minus 12x plus 9 equals to 0. 3 can be taken common. We left x square minus 4x plus 3 is equals to 0. And by middle term splitting, we get the two factors x minus 1, x minus 3. And finally, value of x is equals to 1 and x is equals to 3. Now students, this is the next type of problems. Here in this question, it is given x minus 1 upon 2x plus 1, and 2x plus 1 upon x minus 1 is 5 by 2. Now if you see this question carefully, the first part is x minus 1 upon 2x plus 1, and second is the reciprocal of this. So how we do it? We substitute x minus 1 upon 2x plus 1 as any other variable. I am substituting this as a. We get this equation as simplified form: a plus 1 upon a is equals to 5 by 2. Now friends, you can also solve this problem by taking LCM, but by taking LCM, the steps will be more. By substitution, we get a square plus 1 is 5 by 2. By cross multiplication, we will get a quadratic equation, and that can be solved by middle term splitting, and you will find the value of a from here. Value of a comes to be 1 by 2 and 2. So value of a we have considered x minus 1 upon 2x plus 1. So we have two cases. In the first case, we substitute this value as 1 upon 2, and in the second case, we'll substitute as 2. Because we have two values of a, and a is x minus 1 upon 2x plus 1. Then by performing cross multiplication, we would able to find the value of x. Now see, from this case, 2x and 2x that cancel out, and we could not find the value of x from this case, from the left hand side portion. Now let us check the right hand side. By simplifying this, we get the value of x. X comes to be minus 1. So here this equation will give you only one value of x, which is minus 1. Now the same problem here in this next case, we have a 7x plus 1 upon 5x minus 3, 5x minus 3 upon 7x plus 1. We'll do it by substitution. By simplifying, we get 3a minus 4 upon a is 11. We get a quadratic equation which will be solved. After solving, we get two values of a. One is 4 and second is minus 1 by 3. So in the next step, we'll substitute a minus 1 by 3 in first case. After solving by cross multiplication, you can find the value of x comes to be 0. In the second case, you substitute 7x plus 1 upon 5x minus 3 is equals to 4. By simplifying this, you will get value of x as 1. Now this is the next problem. In this problem, it is given to you, it is 1 upon a plus b plus x is equals to 1 upon a plus 1 upon b plus 1 upon x. Now students, used to start this problem by shifting 1 upon x to left hand side. Then we'll be solving by taking LCM. X into a plus bx is common. By taking LCM, in fact, we got x minus a plus b plus x. On right hand side, a is LCM. We get a plus b. This x cancelled here. Then we left here minus a plus b, and a plus b that will be cancelled from each of the side, and in the next step we'll follow cross multiplication. After cross multiplication, we get ab into minus 1 minus AB is equals to x square plus ax plus bx. Now AB will be shifted to right hand side. From first two term taking x common, we get x plus a. From last two term b is common, we have x plus a. And finally we get the value of x minus a and minus b. Now students, this is the next problem we will discuss here. This is given roots 12 plus roots 12 plus roots 12 and this will continue till infinity. Now we are going to solve it by considering x is equals to roots 12. This whole expression will be considered as x. Then the next step, I will simplify this. You will observe this question carefully. I just underline this portion of this question here, which is 12 plus roots 12 plus root 12 and continue. If you observe here, this is same as we have considered as x. So in the next step, it can be written as x is equals to root 12 plus x. Once we reach to this step, we'll simplify this by squaring both sides. We get x square is 12 plus x, and we get a quadratic equation which can be solved, and the value of x can be 4 and minus 3. So by solving this expression, you get the value of x as 4 and minus 3. Mostly we consider the positive value here. Now here we have a next problem. It is 4 raised to power x minus 3 into 2 raised to power x plus 2 plus 32. So students, in this case here, this question we have to change in the form of a quadratic equation. 4 raised to power x and here it is 2 raised to power x plus 2. So 2 raised to power x I am going to substitute as any other variable. Before that, this 4 can be expressed as 2 raised to power 2x. Then substitution 2 raised to power x as y. So we get here y square because 2 raised to power x is y. We have a 3 times of 2 raised to power x is y and 2 raised to power 2 is 4 plus 32. Now in the next step, we get a quadratic equation which will be solved. After solving this, you get two values of a y, 4 and 8. One by one we'll solve this. In the first case, if 2 raised to power x is y, 2 raised to power x is y and y is 4 in first case. We get 2 raised to power x is 2 raised to power 2 and x comes to be 2. Whereas in the second case, 2 raised to power x is 8 and the value of x comes to be 3. Now students, this complete all type of questions from the factorization method. I think the concept is clear to you. Thanks for watching this video.